Hello, and welcome to another Scottish mountain walking guide for the Torridon Mountains. In today's walk, I climb the two Munros of Beinn Alligin, town na Gruagaich Sgùrr Mòr. The starting point is 3 miles west of Torridon down a single track road. The car park can fit around 15 cars, it's free to park there and there are no height restrictions. The total distance for today's walk is 10.5 kilometres with 1183 metres of ascent. It is expected to take around 4.5 hours to walk. The car park is around 4.5 hours drive from either Glasgow or Edinburgh, and the closest public toilet is in Torridon, about 8 minutes drive by car. Links to the route on OS Maps, the Scottish Mountain Weather website and the parking location on Google Maps are all included in the description below. The last time I climbed Beinn Alligin, we did it in an anti-clockwise direction, and so for a change this time we did it in a clockwise direction. Starting from the car park, you cross the road that you use to enter the car park, and directly opposite the car park there's a small gap in the fence and the path goes north from here. You follow the path, it is very clear, very well defined, and it's a gradual climb. There are some slightly steeper sections and it flattens off and then it gets steeper again, but you just follow the path, heading in a northwest direction. More north than west, but northwest. And you're aiming up to the gap here. There's a sort of corrie that goes up. There's a very steep edge here and there's a very steep face there, and the path goes right up the middle and it goes up adjacent to this stream. As you're climbing up higher, the path will cross over that little stream and you can collect water. There's a good flow of water in this little stream here, so you can collect water at this point just before you reach the summit. And this path going up here is very well made, and it looks like they've been recently working on it, and the steps are very good. And it takes you literally to this point here, almost to the very top is a staircase all the way up. From here you head off in a north-northeast direction. And this bit is a little bit vague. It's quite tricky to actually spot where the path goes across, but as long as you're heading in a north-northeast direction, and then you'll soon see the summit and you head up to that summit. From the summit you want to head to your left, and so a northwesterly direction, and then you'll go down here. This is a little bit scrambly, this, if you go right down the edge here. You could obviously return to the path here shown here and then go around here, and I think that would be less of a scramble. There was a little bit of scrambling required at this point. Follow that path. Again, it's quite clear and obvious. The path along here is very easy to follow. And you follow it round, it flattens off here, then it starts to gain altitude again. You come up to the Horns of Alligin at this point, and this is the big crack between the two tops. So you go around there, and then you can go up quite close to the edge here, and then follow the path as it doubles back, and then you come to the second summit, Sgùrr Mòr. From the summit of Sgùrr Mòr, again you're heading in a very north-northeast direction, and you just follow the ridge. It bends to the right, so just make sure you go to the right and not to the left here. As long as you bend to the right and follow that ridge and go round. And it goes down. Again, the path is well defined and easy to follow. You come to a little Beinn here and then it starts to rise. You can see here there's a path that goes more northeast, and this one goes sort of southeast. The one that goes more northeast takes you up along the ridge. And normally I would go along the ridge, but on the day that I was there, the weather was quite poor. It was in cloud, there was nothing to be seen, and there was a very clear route, and it's on the map as well, the path that just skirts round this and avoids going over this little top. And so for this walk, for a change, I did actually take the bypass and walk round. It's a very easy path to follow, it's not high and exposed, so you can easily walk round here. And then it joins back up to the path, and if it was a good clear day I would have went up and over the top. It was so long ago when I did this walk I can't remember how difficult or easy this section is. But you join that path, and when you join the path that's going along the top you just turn to your right, and again you've got an option here, but we went round this side and just follow that. This section coming down here, especially I think around about here and around about here, there's a couple of bits that are quite steep and do require a little bit of careful down climbing. It's not difficult scrambling, it's easy scrambling, but you just have to take care as you're coming down here. My recommendation would be to actually do this walk in the reverse and to do it in anti-clockwise direction. That way you'll be climbing up this and it'll be an easy scramble up. And when you get to the end, as I said, there was a clear set of steps all the way to the top almost. So that would be an easy descent. The other thing is that there's quite a long walk out once you get back down to sort of flat. There's a gradual decline here, but it is a long walk back to the car park. And personally, I would rather do the long walk at the beginning of the walk. But you come down there, you'll join this path here. I honestly didn't even notice joining the path, so you're just heading in a south direction, following the path. There's a little bridge here you cross over the river, and you follow the path down, and then there's a bigger bridge that you cross over here. And it's pretty flat here as you walk all the way back out to the car park. Good morning, I'm at the car park for Beinn Alligin. As always, at this time of year the midges are absolutely rife. So I'm just going to get going. It's just after 9:30 in the morning and I'm just going to follow these guys. As you leave the car park you go straight across and the path goes by the edge of this wall and then up onto the hillside. You can see people up there. There's a clear and obvious path. Unfortunately, once we got out of the trees, there's a nice breeze to blow the midges away. Not a bad morning, but it's going to get cloudy up the top. At 250 metres, it's a very steep, quick climb up to this point. Car park's at 50 metres. It gets a little bit easier for a short distance and then it gets equally as steep all the way up to the summit. The path continues right up in the middle of that horseshoe of mountain there. So we go right up into the middle of that and then it gets quite steep. It follows up the side of a stream, so you'll be able to refill your water filter system up there before going onto the ridge. The path goes up the middle there, up onto the ridge, and then it goes all the way along the ridge, which is in cloud, all the way to the end. And you come down that bridge, and come down, head down towards the river. And the two Munros I climbed yesterday are in the centre of frame and in the background. It gets really steep here as we go up through the quarry. It's a good set of steps, really good path to follow. The cloud is lifting. Leah Hath there in the distance. I'm at 750 metres and the stream is still strong here, so you could fill up even way up here. Less than 200 metres to go, just coming up to the cloud line. It's a good path, but very steep. Almost at the top, right below the cloud line. So at the top of that path, a really good path, even at the very top. Most paths get pretty poor near the top. You'll see this cairn, and from here going in a north-east direction, so this way, off to your right slightly. So here we're approaching the summit of Gruagaich. It's not, not at all. And as always, incredible views. Getting very slight visibility through the clouds. From the summit you want to go directly north, which we think is this way. I really should get my compass out, it would make it a lot easier. Oh, that's quite a big drop going that way. Now you'll see there is a clear path, so we'll just follow this round. There's a little bit of a ridge to climb down here. Big steps, doesn't look too much. Maybe a little bit of grade 1 scrambling. If you don't like scrambling, I think you can just go to your left and come round. There's the roots of a path there. So you don't have to come directly down the main bit here. This certainly makes it a bit more exciting. horns of Beinn Alligin just in the cloud centre frame. We got all the way along to the end and then down that light patch of scree. Back out. Nice and calm round the corner from this bit of rock. Cloud is almost lifting over the tops. Out over the Minch to Skye, and that grey patch in the middle is the bottom end of Harris. I can just make it out if I zoom in a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure that comes out the best, but there you go. Looking back along the ridge that we've climbed down from the first top, see how steep that is. Torridon's round the corner, the village, and we're going to head on up here into the horns. Unfortunately, going back into the cloud. The horns of Beinn Alligin. It's a bit cloudy. Summit's just up there, isn't it? Just up there. Just approaching the second summit of Beinn Alligin, Sgùrr Mòr. It's got a much bigger cairn. Close enough. Unfortunately, it's a bit cloudy. And a bit wet. And from this summit, we just keep following the path. From the summit, you head north for a very short distance and then it curves round to the right, to the east, and just follow that path. Yeah, there's not very much to see on the way down, very wet. A bit windy. Still the middle of August. Nice summer's day. fairly steep section that to come down, but it's got a good path and lots of steps in the rocks, easy to come down. I think we've got one final up and down to go. You'll see from the time lapse I've just taken a bypass that cuts around instead of going over the top of this peak. It's not a Munro. The path looked really well worn and I just wanted to see what it was like. If you ever got into any difficulties you can just backtrack and go back up and over. But it looks quite a nice path. With the cloud being up top there was no chance to get to see anything. So it is an exception, like I say. Normally the safest way is to go right over the top, but like everything there's always an exception. Just coming out of the cloud. It's a very clear path down here, a bit rocky, but no difficulties, at least not yet. Catching up with a few people. I would not want to be in shorts in this weather, too cold for me. So coming down that section there, you definitely need to take care. Very slight scrambling, just put your hands on the rocks, making sure you put your feet in the right place. There's multiple routes to come down, nothing too difficult. There's another wee drop there, we'll see what that's like. That last section was also quite steep, lots of big steps, no scrambling required, and now it should just be a straightforward walk out. It looks like it's lunchtime. This is where you see all those people drop their phone in the river. We try not to do that. It's almost like a completely different day down here. There's a breeze, but there's no real wind, there's no rain. The sun's starting to come out. And eventually the sun's come out. We head down to that bridge, cross the river and turn right and then just follow the path straight back out to the car park basically. The walk finishes with a very nice woodland walk. So, as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It certainly shows how wild it can get even in summertime. And I look forward to showing you some more of the Scottish mountains in the next episode. Thanks and bye for now. Back at the main road we came in on, and the car park is just across there. So just a little over 5 hours since we left the car. We didn't stop for very long, so it's probably about 5 hours of walking.